Removing the word happiness can lead to happiness. My advice to people is to focus on removing things, rather than acquiring them. Instead of thinking about becoming rich, think about not becoming poor. Instead of aspiring to be healthy, vow not to get sick. Rather than enjoying yourself, try not to receive criticism or blame. These are all practical guidelines for life. If you follow these principles, you can achieve small but definite results. Removing the word happiness from your mind can make it easier to adhere to these guidelines. There is a French proverb I like that says, "The best thing is to truly enjoy what you love." The reason why the Stoics rejected pleasure was because pleasure was often accompanied by some degree of pain. They believed that a life without pleasure but also without pain was better. So they exerted all their efforts to eliminate pain. As a natural result, their lives were not particularly joyful, but at least they were not miserable. It's easy for life to become unhappy, but it's difficult to become happy. Giving up happiness is not hypocrisy or despair. It's the wisest choice. That choice is the beginning of wisdom. The wisdom of life is to not be greatly surprised or disappointed by anything, whether it's an event, a person, or a state. It is the virtue of moderation, where one is not greatly surprised, disappointed, or expecting anything. Not being greatly disappointed even in great failure, nor greatly rejoicing even in success. Life itself has little value worth being shaken by. Just as avoiding the trap of hypocrisy in youth can lead to insight into life at an early age, realizing what a proper life is varies from person to person, but if you want to live comfortably, it's best to cast off the mask of hypocrisy early on. The more brilliant it is, the more dangerous it is. The world is like a stage, where what is seen is merely an appearance. When the play ends, the glamorous stage is quickly dismantled, leaving behind an empty warehouse. To mature mentally, one must reach the age of 40. As life goes on, unimportant things increase, and these unimportant things endlessly repeat, gradually making things that were once important seem unimportant. Although time passes, no traces remain. Life until the age of 36 is lived as interest on time, and from 36 onwards it is lived as time itself, consuming life. So, when young, even if there is a deficit, it seems insignificant because it is just interest, so there is no worry about overspending. However, when the interest of time stops and it is time to use the principle, the regret of lost time approaches. Ultimately, as one ages, the capital of life, which is time, continues to be depleted. When people grow old, they become more greedy than in their youth because they are anxious that the capital of life, which is life itself, is running out. When feeling hateful, sleep is the best. Take time at the end of the day to reflect calmly. The emotions gained in the time of reflection, looking back on the past day, are ultimately filled with incompetence and anger towards others, leading to depression once again. Being trapped in darkness, this heart is the result of exhaustion. When one is exhausted with life, rational reflection becomes impossible. Trying to reflect forcibly inevitably falls into the trap of depression. When tired, even reflecting can be exhausting. Looking back at the past feels tedious, and writing in a diary feels agonizing. When life is vibrant, enjoyable, or deeply engaging, there's no need to look back or reflect. There's no need to make resolutions or plans to avoid such mistakes again. The act of reflecting indicates feeling sorry for oneself, harboring resentment towards others, and signals a need for rest for the mind and body. In such times, simply resting is the best option. Reflection is self-loathing. When one feels insignificant, they ruminate on anything to find something to reflect on. When one feels drained, they reflect recklessly and introspect on their identity. It's better to just fall asleep without any thoughts when feeling this way. When feeling hateful towards oneself, sleep is the best. Gambling, praying, and meditating are no help. Traveling is of no use, and even drinking only deepens self-hatred. Eating well, sleeping well, and waking up early are the best solutions to overcome self-loathing. It's best to leave as soon as possible from a hateful today. If feeling troubled, there's no solution other than eating and sleeping more than usual, and tomorrow morning start afresh. A walk is sufficient for a companion in distress. I always try to walk at the same time. Walking is like a job. You must develop a habit of starting and finishing at the same time every day. When walking, bring things to think about. It's about bringing difficult tasks. Therefore, I do not bring a companion. The companion of a walk is enough with agony. A healthy life improves through the harmony of the body and mind. A healthy and successful life in both body and mind is very rare. Simply living causes humans to feel tired. Even trivial movements are burdensome to the body. To endure this and manage a healthy and vibrant life for a long time, one must pay the price. Good habits are that price. If there is a habit of cultivating good habits, it is patience. Patience is not about enduring unconditionally. It is realizing the range one's body can endure and maintaining it within that range. Persisting until you can't bear it anymore is foolish. Thinking, I can do it because others are doing it, is nothing short of suicide. The key is to maintain the standard that does not make the body and mind uncomfortable for a long time. Eventually, a day will come when a mundane life is recognized as one's unique talent. There is no right answer in life, nor are there set rules. Many consider my kind of life unhappy. There are people who find happiness in a regular and quiet life, and there are those who find happiness in an impulsive and bustling life. What should not be forgotten is the inner order. The inner order must be maintained in any situation. Just as one cannot party for 2 or 3 days straight, there must always be a range at the beginning and end. One must create the best rules that harmonize with their state and character within the range they have set for themselves. Rules apply even in undefined situations like travel. I learned and realized many things through travel, but the great Kant never even went near travel in his lifetime. He considered travel a useless waste of time. However, my journey was a strange and new adventure, an amazing friendship that is hard to experience in everyday life, and it played the role of a true mentor. We are both philosophers and researchers, and despite our commonality, we had differing views on travel. There is no great life without irregularity. Though how that appeared to others, I don't know, that kind of life suited them, making their lives great. Instead of blindly following trends like an epidemic, we cultivate and habituate rules that suit us, demonstrating the talent of patience, and over a lifetime, our own great lives accumulate, unrivaled by others. Being different from others in clothing, speech, breaking rules, and ignoring information doesn't make one special. True uniqueness is not easily visible. It is formed in the secret and personal aspects of daily life that others cannot see. I exist as myself. There is no existence beyond me in this world. If a God exists, it's their problem. My existence is solely my own concern. I want to be in this world. That's the crucial point. I don't want to be convinced that my existence is based on meaningless words. There is no one who can clearly tell me what will happen to me after I die. I will not be deceived by old tricks. If I cannot exist as myself, I will not give up anything for immortality. If my uniqueness is not guaranteed, I will not belong to anything. I am complete and excellent. There is no uniqueness greater than mine. I don't want to change myself for anyone else. My current self, no matter how it is me, and that's enough. I refuse to become a necessary object for others. I am not a product, not an item on display, not a spectacle for customers. Products aim to captivate customers' eyes with colors and shine, to lure them into their rainstorm, but I refuse to be part of their rain. I don't want to become something they need. Responsibility for my actions lies with me, and the moral judgment of those actions is also mine. It is an abuse of authority for others to judge my actions based on their moral concepts. Such behavior is the essence of immorality. I have despised the concept of morality since birth. I have never allowed such notions, and I have told others that they are also devoid of morality. But now I must remember, it is only what is not given. I am the only one who did not receive that gift. Yet, as a human, I tested my capabilities and succeeded in surpassing their limits. That is enough. My painful environment is a result of my own doing. The current environment cannot be changed by anything, and even if someone else takes the lead, it seems unlikely to change. Until death comes, I want to do my best. The most pitiful time in life is when you vaguely realize that lying in the coffin is not far off. It's when you realize that you've spent your life chasing empty desires. It's a time when you quietly hope for more time, when you regret that if only you were given the same life one more time, you could spend it together. This is the fate of me and them today. Regardless of culture and class, regardless of rich and poor, this is the fate of humanity today. If I truly love my life, I must strive to move away from the predetermined fate. Hopes shattered in youth, dreams of boyhood melted away like afternoon in summer. The wind hastening death blows towards me. When that wind feels warm like a mother's embrace, I will fall like autumn leaves. But until that day comes, I want to do my best. When I fall weakly like autumn leaves, I want to say to the wind, I did my best. So I can say I don't regret, I don't hate, and I can wish you well. After unhappiness, the time after unhappiness is more important than when unhappiness erupted. There's no need to bother looking at those ahead of me. If you own something different from others, there's no reason to be compared. If you feel jealous because you think you can't surpass them even if you try, then going a different way from them is the solution. On that path, there won't be anyone to make me miserable. If you don't want to be judged by people, it's simple. Live a life they can't judge. Choose what they don't choose and cling to what they don't show interest in. That solves the problem. Life is covered with mistakes and chance. Mistakes are not failures. No one knows the result of mistakes because behind mistakes always follows chance. No one knows what kind of trouble chance will bring. It may turn mistakes into success or ruin a perfect plan from the start. Therefore, there's no need to be certain because no one knows what kind of fantasy chance is weaving. As Goethe said, just saddle up and ride. After unhappiness, the time after unhappiness is more important. Hoping that it didn't happen is useless. It's too late to regret laziness, recklessness, or laziness that may have caused unhappiness. Unhappiness is itself a punishment. Repeating self-punishment even after unhappiness has passed is a tragedy that brings another unhappiness. There's no need to excuse, minimize, or resent clear mistakes. Admit cleanly, receive punishment. Write down the tragedy caused by chance on the page of life, and close the book. That's enough. The wiser one is the more they understand how light and insignificant honor and dignity are. The politicians of Athens, who founded democracy, were unashamed when drunken citizens pelted them with rotten vegetables, believing that washing their clothes would suffice to erase the shame. They even thought being slapped unfairly was as trivial as being scratched by a cat or a dog, and they did not pursue legal action for damage to their honor. The reason why honor and dignity are so highly esteemed in modern times is because human relationships, authority, and status are filled with prejudices. People value their honor because, without the honor gained from displaying one's humanity, they have nothing. Lacking ability, they cannot earn others' respect, and yet, craving power, they tarnish their own reputation. They become ensnared by the arrogance of believing their honor has been damaged because they lack the confidence to perform actions worthy of respect, resorting instead to demanding respect from others through threats of dishonor. This behavior is akin to holding a thermometer in both hands and claiming that the room has become warmer due to one's actions. If this era were a time when peaceful interactions with others were possible, honor would not be considered damaged as it is today. In a society that respects others' rights absolutely, instead of valuing dignity, trust would be the focus. Unfortunately, in today's society, honor is something that one must recommend to oneself, as it is not recognized by others. It is like wielding a blade in one's mouth to avoid being ignored by others, and it is often misused as a pretext for confrontation with those who are hated. In times when civilization did not exist, it was a natural choice to resort to fear rather than trust in order to protect oneself and prevent one's rights from being taken away. This behavior is akin to animals fiercely guarding their territory. However, now that nations exist and societies are formed, it is disgraceful to resort to threats and coercion to protect one's boundaries, especially when the state is supposed to protect our bodies and property. The text introduces the idea that to live a less challenging life, one should abandon the desire to become rich, commit to not being poor, relinquish the desire to become healthy, and vow not to fall ill. It suggests focusing on avoiding criticism and blame rather than enjoying life. Arthur Schopenhauer believed that happiness in life is fleeting, and most of it consists of suffering, so it is important to eliminate suffering. He also considered health and peace of mind as conditions for happiness. To maintain peace of mind, it is important not to associate too closely with others and to have as much personal time as possible. Associating too closely with others can disrupt peace of mind and lead to being influenced by others' opinions or being entangled in the poor values of one's surroundings. Schopenhauer believed that true self-discovery occurs in a state of solitude and that happiness lies within oneself, not outside.